Now for the second part of step one, you've already established that you have the correct dimensions to make this a useful piece of timber for your project, but you need to make sure that there are no defects in the timber that are going to interfere with the construction of your work. By defects, we are talking about knot holes that are going to obviously have a hole in your timber that you don't want. You're looking at grain that it's been pulled out by the machinery that the wood has gone through. That might be difficult to sand off later on, so that's another problem. I've got another piece of wood here that I've found has a split. So I can see that that piece of wood there has a split, or the corner has a split in it, and there's a likelihood that that's going to break off later on. So I might try and avoid that end of the timber. So we have a number of defects that we want to look for. Here's a piece of wood that has just straight grain, no knot holes, no splits. We've looked down and made sure that it's fairly straight, doesn't have any kinks or warps in it. So that would be a good choice for a piece of timber. Now the problem is that pine in particular is a timber that does have a lot of knot holes in it. And if we were going to avoid the knot holes, then probably 60% of the timber we would be throwing away, which is really not acceptable. So what we've got to realise is that there are some knots in our timber that are going to give the timber character and would be something that we might like to have in our project. So this knot here, for example, is fairly stable. It's not going to fall out, doesn't have any cracks in it. So this might be a knot that you could include in your piece of timber.